In this video, we are going to be taking a look at the interface of Albion Solstice. To view available instruments, first be sure you have the Library tab of Contacts selected. Then click the Instruments tab to view the subfolders. Double-click a subfolder to see the instruments in that section. Double-click the up arrow to go back up in the folder structure. To load an instrument, either click and drag on the instrument NKI file into the contact window, or double-click to bring it up. The first view we have is our eDNA interface. These instruments make use of two sound bays, each with its own sample. You can change the samples by pressing the folder icon and choosing from the drop-down menu, or by using the left-right arrows to scroll through. The star icon will allow you to assign a rating so you can organize your favorites. Press the speaker icon to mute, and the X icon to remove the sample from the sound bay. Below the sound bays, you will find the wobbles section. These are low-frequency oscillators, or LFOs, that are linked to volume, pitch, and filter. Click and drag up or down on the wobble to change the speed of the LFO. Moving on, you will find the sample and note controls, which include tuning, panning, offset, and trim. Use the offset feature in conjunction with the tuning option to move higher or lower samples to the correct pitch. You will also have controls for pitch bend, amount, and percent, glide, and clone, which acts as a voice doubler. To the left of the sample controls, you will find a high and low pass filter, as well as an attack, decay, sustain, release envelope that controls the sample's amplitude curves. And below the sample controls, you will find the mixer. The middle crossfader controls the blend between the A and B sound bays and is controlled by the mod wheel. Use the Oscillate Mixer button to move this automatically via LFO, and the speed control to change the rate of the LFO. The slider beneath the crossfader controls the LFO phase, and the shapes on the right-hand side allow you to select different LFO movements. Press the Stop on Release option to disable the mixer oscillate on sample release. Next, we have our gate sequencer. This option allows you to create patterns that alternate between the samples in sound bays A and B in time. Click the button on the left to enable this. Use the multiplier option to choose the sequence length, and click on areas in the sequence to enable or disable playback for that sequence step in the corresponding bay. Use the gate volume control to determine how much the gate will lower the sample volume in disabled sequence, and the smooth in and out functions to reduce harsh dips in volume. Last, we have our FX. To add effects to the FX dash, click on the FX and Motor tab, then click the Favorite button and select Attach to Dashboard. On the FX and Motor page, you can see it is divided into two sections: Motor Effects and the FX Rack. Motor effects are effects that can be assigned to either the A and B bays or both. Click on an effect, then hit the motor option beneath the parameter to assign it to the motors. Each motor has two LFOs that can be altered via the corresponding knobs to achieve a desired effect. Mouse over each knob to see what the parameter is at the bottom of Contact. The FX rack allows you to change a variety of effects that are organized via the master output, the individual sound bays, or on auxiliary channels. Click on Effect to see the adjustable parameters, and click the button below the effect to enable or disable it. And finally, at the bottom of our eDNA interface, you will find controls to enable or disable an arpeggiator, as well as an overall volume control and noise generator. Use the rate option of the arpeggiator to adjust the note values of the arpeggiations, and the duration to adjust how long the arpeggiated notes are held. Next up, we have our drone grid. This is a way to instantly create customized evolutions which are constantly changing long-held notes that can provide exciting new textures. Each of the pegs behave like a toggle. On the x-axis are the different evolutions, while the y-axis are the pitch centers. Click the dice button to randomize the selection based on a variety of parameters or to randomize all. At the bottom of the grid are the FX, volume, and pan options. The FX is a simple toggle on-off that enables a send to the FX rack, which is featured on the right-hand side. The volume and pan controls allow for more exact balancing between evolutions. Beneath that, we have our scroll bar, which allows you to scroll through all 48 evolutions. On the right-hand side, at the top, you will find our dynamics and expression sliders. Dynamics will control the dynamic layer of the sample playback, while expression functions as an overall volume control. ADSR would be the attack, decay, sustain, and release envelope that controls the sample volume playback. Briefly, attack is how long it takes the note to reach its loudest point. Decay is how long the note takes to reach its sustain level. Sustain sets the held note volume, and release is how long it takes for a note to reach 0 dB once it stops being played. Lastly, we have the effects racks, which consists of reverb, delay, and tape saturation. Use the knob on the left to control overall FX volume playback, and the corresponding knobs on the right to control the FX parameters. When first loading up an instrument from the Solstice Orchestra, the interface will default to the basic view. On the left is the UI's Easy Mix function. This automatically adjusts microphone mixes based on the level of depth you are attempting to achieve. On the right-hand side, you have additional parameter controls, such as dynamics, reverb, release, speed, and expression. Dynamics controls the dynamic layer of the sample playback. Reverb adjusts the artificial reverb added to the signal. Release shortens or increases the sample release time. Speed controls legato interval transition timing. And expression adjusts the overall volume control. Below these parameters, you will find the available articulations for the instrument. You can choose from this menu to change the type of articulation playing back by clicking or via articulation switching technique. In addition to the basic view, there is also an advanced view that can be accessed by clicking the spanner wrench icon at the top left of the interface. This view offers direct control over individual microphones or mixes. Click the ROM icon underneath the microphone or mix to enable or disable it, and use the fader to control the overall level of the signal. You can also click this icon underneath the articulations below to unload the articulation from RAM. To the top right of the microphone mixer, you can find additional options. The first will allow you to change velocity response. The next allows for stereo width and panning controls over each mic. Following that, the music note icon allows you to set microphone mix settings for each individual articulation, and the floppy disk icon allows you to save, recall, or copy and paste mix settings. Next to the microphone mixer are several more options. The first is a list of presets designed to change RAM and CPU usage by altering available articulations and microphone mixes. These can be useful when attempting to reduce RAM or CPU consumption. The Purge Unused option allows you to remove unused samples from memory. Transpose will shift the samples up by the selected number of semitones. Please note that this will not be the same as tuning. CC Map Velocity will toggle if the articulations will respond to velocity instead of the dynamics fader when possible. Moving on, you can select from the various round robin and legato options. The drop-down menu allows you to choose from a variety of round robin layering choices. Quickly, neighboring zone round robin takes from a neighboring sample. The layer options add in additional round robin on top, and the transpose option takes round robins from plus or minus 2 semitones and transposes them to the note you are on. Polyphonic legato, meanwhile, divides the legato lines based on velocity. With the default of 4, this divides the velocity range from 0 to 127 into 4 separate values. For instance, velocities played within the same velocity grouping, such as 0 to 32, will trigger a legato transition. This allows you to play multiple legato lines at various velocity groupings simultaneously. Last, we have our key switch options. The keyboard icon allows you to drag key switches as a group to new locations on the keyboard. The CC option allows you to assign CC values to the key switches so that they can be triggered via CC, and the lock icon allows you to set up more advanced key switching options such as our UACC. For more information, please be sure and refer to the manual or get in touch with our support team via spitfireaudio.com.
Thanks for watching Spitfire Clips. Let us know if it was too long, too short, too fast, or too slow in the comments down below. Hit like if we answered your question, and subscribe for more clips, tips, tricks, and exclusive Spitfire content.